Hi there, welcome to Hey Sound Guy, podcast where I'll be peeking behind the curtains of the wonderful world of music. Each week I'll be speaking to sound engineers, music industry professionals and musicians. We'll share some fun stories from the road and find out a bit more about who they are. My next guest is a fantastic saxophone player. I've known him quite a long time. He has been playing most of his life. I know him from playing at Ronnie Scott's, where he does the late shows, he does support sets, and he's done main shows. Fantastic sax player, great friend, good chat. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my good friend, Leo Richardson.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
Pleasure, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's in the new setup today. I got rid of the desk and I set this up. And so, yeah, we'll give it a go, see how it comes out. There's a bit more space over here, which is good.
Where we can maybe do some stretching or little games over there.
Bit of yoga, maybe?
Yeah. Or maybe
you into yoga?
Never done it.
Okay. You should check out DDPY. Do you remember Diamond Dallas Page of the wrestling world?
No.
No. He's this big fella. He always had a snake. Anyway, and from 35 years of pro wrestling, his back and his knees and everything was just fucked. So he was basically bedridden. And he started adapting regular yoga stuff.
Right.
And it's kind of like a rock and roll yoga. It's fucking great, man. And it's an online thing. So it's 75 pounds a year.
Right.
And then you've got all the videos on there and you just follow along. And it's really good. There's a really inspirational video of this war vet. He was a paratrooper. Right, and from all the jumping back in the day, his lower back, his knees, hips, everything was just fucked, right? He was walking with 2 crutches, back brace, knee braces. He was super overweight.
Jeez.
And everybody just said to him, listen, this is your life now. And even yoga teachers had turned him away, apparently. And so Diamond Dallas saw this guy. The guy reached out to him, and Diamond Dallas saw him, and he fucking got him on this program. And in 10 months, right? This guy had lost something like 160 pounds, and he was running.
Wow.
Right? Not just like, because the doctor said to him he would never be able to walk unaided.
Yeah.
And he was fucking sprinting, mate, standing on his head, doing like, so yeah, it's super, it's very good. It's nice. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe should we do some wrestling?
Why not? Just wait for the mud to come in, mate.
Yeah.
Or are we going to do jelly?
Clothesline?
Right. With all that now out the way, Leo, tell us who you are and what it is that you do and how you come to be in this lovely world of music.
Well, I'm Leo, as you've just said.
I have. Have you got a surname?
Yeah, Richardson.
Oh, right.
Leo Richardson, that's me.
That's the full name?
That's the full name.
Okay, that's okay.
Well, not the full name, but...
Oh, are you burdened with the names of the fathers as well?
Well, I'm burdened with the middle name and the double-barreled surname.
Oof.
Yeah. Thanks.
Right. Well, I mean, I suppose Van Dyke is kind of the same. It's not really, though, is it?
Not
you can kind of think it's one thing. Have you got a hyphen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. How bourgeois is that?
Mate, well, look at the way you're dressed. You're a smart guy.
It's a jumper.
Yeah, you look smart.
Do
you
I?
wear it well.
Thanks.
It's a compliment.
Cheers, man. What do? I'm a saxophone player, musician, and woodwinds, etc. And I've met you playing at a regular performer at the fabulous Ronnie Scott's Club.
That is correct.
You are one of
It's
the
good fun.
in-house sound engineers. It is good fun. It's one of my favourite places to play in the whole world. I love that place.
And even hang out.
Yes.
There's some nice people that come through there.
There's a lot of
from
nice
time to
people that
time.
come from
Yeah.
time to time.
Yeah, it's
I hope I'm on your list of nice people.
Oh no! I mean, I thought I'd get all the cunts out the way first.
Starting with
You.
Oh, cheers. Thanks.
See you later. No, of course you are, mate. Yeah, you know, we've always gotten along really well, which is great.
How long have we known each other now? What, about 6 years or so?
Something like that, yeah.
Too long, baby.
Oh, right, I see. Okay, it's already at that stage. So
well, I can only have one friend at a time, so you know, you've maybe outstayed your welcome. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, you're in my house, so who's outstayed what, mate? You know what I mean?
Fine.
Okay, right. Let's get back to business here. With me coiling my cables, playing with my wires here. Jesus, new setup. Okay, I'm going to stop fidgeting now. Lovely. You are, in my opinion, a very, very good saxophone player. I really enjoy your playing.
Thank you very much. That's very
you've got a lot of taste and a lot of soul, you know, even though you play jazz, but you put the right notes in the right places. You know, you're not like, as Spinal Tap say, playing all the wrong notes just to get to the right one. Have you seen that video?
Who hasn't?
It's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Okay. When did you decide that you want to become a saxophone player?
Oof.
When you hit puberty and you're like, man, I'm going to get all the girls.
I think, you know, I always wanted to play the saxophone.
Can you sit just a little bit closer or pull that microphone up to you a little bit? Yeah. No, not quite so close, because I still want to see your pretty face.
How's that? Is that all right?
That's a little bit better,
Okay. Yeah. I'll try and be a bit closer.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I always wanted to play the saxophone as a kid, and well, my dad's a musician, and
he's a bass player, right?
He is a bass player.
He's very good.
I
love when you two guys play together. There's a good chemistry going there. He's a top fella, your old man.
He is a top fella. So, I mean, I guess, you know, I was around music from a young age, and when I was in primary school, you know, we got the opportunity, I guess, when we were, how old? Must have been like year 4, so what's that, kind of 9 or 10 or something? And then
9 to 10,
you're given the opportunity to try out an instrument and learn in small groups. And I really wanted to play a saxophone, but the woodwind teacher at the school said, I'd already been playing the recorder and was quite, you know, was I guess a bit of a natural with it, and found it, you know, I enjoyed it. And then she said, if you want to play saxophone, you got to play clarinet first. Give that a try. Do grade 5, and then you can do saxophone. So did that, and
I love the clarinet.
I love the clarinet.
It's great.
It's a bastard though. It's really fucking hard.
Is that why it's called the misery stick? Right. I dated a girl in high school that played the clarinet.
Really?
Yeah.
Was she miserable?
No, she was super cool.
Yeah. But she played the clarinet.
Yeah. Her mum didn't like me very much. But not very many people in my hometown did, so there you go.
Oh, boo-hoo, I'm so sorry.
It just comes with the territory of being a cunt, mate.
Hey man, I like you. Despite everything.
Despite everything. No account for taste, right? What's that say about you? Right, sorry. To the side. You were in primary school and you wanted to get on the clarinet? Because you wanted to get on the saxophone?
Well, yeah. So I did grade 5 and started saxophone when I was in year 6, I think. And then...
Well, you muscled your way through it, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was a slippery slope from there, really.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was just drugs and hookers. And,
you know...
The jazz world, bro.
Well, yeah, of course. But I think I didn't get into jazz until a bit later. And I remember someone bought me a Charlie Parker CD. I think I must have been about 14 or so. And I thought, wow, this is fucking amazing. I want to do that. And
now you do.
And now I do, yeah, which is great. You know, there was a lot of graft, and I was really lucky as well. The secondary school I went to, the music department was fucking amazing, and particularly in my year as well, I was really lucky with some amazing musicians who I still play with now, you know, and being in bands from kind of 14, 15 with a saxophone, you know, that was great, an amazing bit to be able to do that, and I'm really lucky with what I get to do now.
Yeah,
doing
man.
what I love.
That's fantastic. I'm really glad. Very happy for you. It's it really is. It's nice when people get to live the dream, you know. And as I was saying to Joe Sam, do you know Joe? Bass player.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. As I was saying to him, I think we don't celebrate being happy about, you know, being where we want to be enough. Or I don't know if it's even sort of almost frowned upon, like, oh really, you're happy doing your work, you know, you're happy doing your job, because I think so many people out there are actually miserable in their jobs, and to see that is almost offensive, you know. But I think we should definitely
I've never
celebrate.
experienced that. I've only ever experienced people like quite the opposite, being like, God, fuck, you're so lucky being able to do what you love. I'm like, yeah,
Absolutely.
really lucky. And I don't, like, fuck, you only get one go at this life, so
Exactly right.
do what you love, because you're not going to get another chance. And, you know, I don't want to end up being 50 and think, what did you do?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So you got to, you know, do what you enjoy the most.
Yeah, and grab it with both hands, get after it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, 100%. This life's way too fucking short to be stuck being miserable. Of
course.
But I mean, if unfortunately there also has to be, you know, cogs that make the machine turn. Some of those people enjoy being a cog, and other people don't. But if you don't and you're stuck, then maybe get a hobby. Find something that you do enjoy.
Within reason.
Obviously, you know, the
Make sure it's legal.
the random murder of people is not allowed.
Oh, well, that's that out the window then.
Well, I mean, you can always just lose your shit and go shoot up a bank.
Just don't, you know, make sure you don't get caught. Because it's a short-lived hobby otherwise.
Yeah, mate. It's like a one-day big bang, I'm out. Thank you for the ride. It's been a pleasure.
Unless prison's a hobby as well, I don't know. You know.
No, I don't.
Solitary confinement.
Jesus. Although I didn't mind solitary so much. I don't really know. I've never been there. I don't plan on going there, but
I hope not.
yeah, well, you never know. Maybe I've got a criminalistic mind.
Well, I've always wondered.
Have you now?
Yeah.
If I'm some dodgy guy.
What am I doing in your house?
Well, you know.
Can I trust you?
Can you trust me? I don't know. Can you?
I don't know.
Right. So you were playing in bands from when you were about 14 and
Yeah, 14, 15 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever go down the sort of Nijo route? Or,
I did a little bit, although I mainly did another band that was called Super Jazz. Oh baby,
Super Jazz.
Super Jazz, which was run by one of the greatest people ever, a guy called Phil Revens, and who is since unfortunately he passed away a couple of years ago. But he made a massive impact on my life as a young teen getting into music. And back in the day, kind of in like the 80s, the band was a healthy rival between Super Jazz and Nijo.
Oh, right.
And some amazing players came out of Super Jazz as well. Mm-hmm. The Sid Wells, John Paracelli.
Yeah, no, I know it's not
Ralph
the only route
Salmons
to go. It's just is what I know.
So I was, fortunately, when I was at school, like I said, the music department was fucking crazy. You know, we had like chamber orchestra, symphony orchestra, concert bands, jazz bands, wind bands, all of this, and an incredibly high standard, you know, concerto concerts, that kind of vibe. For like a state school, it was nuts.
That's really good.
And I was fortunate enough when I was in year 8, so 13, I got put on baritone sax in the concert band because I was really tall.
Right. So you were born.
Yeah, I was.
like
I
this.
came out like this, 6'2". Yeah, straight out.
Well, at least you're skinny.
And so yeah, and I love the baritone, and ended up playing that in super jazz.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And
baritone.
I love it. And it's a nuisance that is quite cumbersome. But it was carting that around, especially if you're doubling, if you're carting that around baritone and tenor on the tube is not fun. So I loved playing in that band. The rehearsals were amazing. Phil was so crass and so offensive that it was brilliant.
Brilliant.
And it was just what you needed as a teenager, getting prepared for what's coming ahead. It was great. I loved it. And we did some great gigs. We used to do every year, the Ali Pali fireworks.
Awesome.
And so in the Great Hall in the beer festival, amazing. And there was always great reception there. And those gigs were so much fun, and great bunch of guys. Many of which I'm still friends with, and we played together, and it was brilliant.
Fantastic, man.
So I did that more than Nigel.
That's it's a route. Like I said, the only reason I ask is because I'm ignorant to the world of jazz. For somebody who's been in the business for about 12 years, I don't know how I can. No, but I mean, I know there are other bands around. I just like something like Niger.
Yeah.
A youth orchestra where you know. But as you said, your school orchestra was great. That's really nice to hear. We had a school band, didn't do very much, but then I come from a very small town.
Right.
And for us it was rugby, man.
Right.
It's like, have you ever seen that movie Varsity Blues?
No, I've never seen it actually.
Okay, right. So if you kind of take that and just make football into rugby, that's kind of what my town was like.
Right, okay.
It was one of those small, everybody plays rugby, and all the dads would come and watch rugby practice, sit next to the field and shout abuse, and like, you better fucking get it right, and rugby was like the priority. And the rugby players were they were the gods.
Right.
So it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Amazing.
Growing up, small towns.
Well,
A lot of drinking.
I think when I was involved so I played clarinet in the symphony orchestra and baritone in the concert band, and then there was also, when we were there, I tried to set up a big band for a bit because there wasn't really much jazz going on, but that kind of didn't really work because it was run by me and I was a student. Nobody took it seriously.
Right.
So it was kind of hard to get it started and getting kind of regular attendance. But we did set up when I was in sixth form. We set up there was a soul band. There was a teacher that came who's a fantastic singer, someone Neve McNally, who I'm friends with now, which is amazing. And we, some guys in my year and her, we put together this soul band that a few years ago ended up having not a few years ago, like when was it, 2 or 3? Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago we had the 10-year anniversary. It's still going now. So they've got a junior soul band and a senior soul band.
Cool.
And the standard is fucking crazy. It's like,
that's great.
Better than a lot of function bands out there. It's nuts.
Fantastic.
These kids playing music to such a high level.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring.
Great. I think something that we noted as well before in the previous time, Joe as well was saying that, the level of musicianship is definitely getting higher and higher and higher.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't directly correlate with the quality of music that comes out, but I mean the individual musicians and their ability to play their instruments is, it's just every day you see new guys coming out and you're like, fuck, man, how? And, it's Hugh Neal as well. He said that, you see this guy and he's way better than you, and he's about 10 years younger than you, and you're just like, fuck, man. But I mean, we all definitely have our own path and our own time and our own journey. I think it's very harmful to compare yourself to others. You can draw inspiration from others, but to compare yourself with somebody of your same age or whatever, and you're like, oh, but he's there, why am I still here?
It's a pointless task doing that.
It's really harmful because it puts you back, and then you start doubting yourself. But I mean, everybody has their own journey in terms of, maybe you had to go do something else, or you had other priorities and responsibilities. Not always are you able to, do what you want to do. So you don't have the time for practice 4 hours a day. You can do 1 hour, and that's the best you got to do because you got to go to work and you got to do other things. It's that's everybody has their own way and their own path and their own time. I think the only person we need to compare ourselves to is us of yesterday. I think that's the only way really forward. But drawing inspiration from people is, I think maybe then also there would be less jealousy and nastiness and stuff if people can just kind of try and do that rather. But I don't know. I mean, the community of musicians that I encountered at Ronnie Scott's and places like that, everybody seems to be, happy for others, supportive. It seems like, especially at Ronnie Scott's, there's a nice tight community of people who always support each other, and they're actually happy for each other. I haven't really seen any kind of like backstabbing or anything going on like that.
No.
Anyway, in a long time, I've seen a few things, but nothing. It's not the frequent thing to happen, which is a good thing. Us as engineers as well, we're very fortunate because we've got a tight group, and we all support each other. And be happy for each other when somebody lands a good gig.
Oh man, I totally exactly the same and feel the same way about that as well. And when you see someone doing well, it's great, and I'm always happy for them. Or if you see someone new that's coming out, that you're like, fuck me, they're ridiculous. It's inspiring, and I love it, and I love that about the music. That's the way it goes, And there's always, no matter how good you are, there's going to be someone better than you.
You know that, right?
I mean, with whatever in life, and that's exciting, and that's always inspiring. I love seeing, these young people coming up, 18, 19, whatever, that just appear on the scene, they're starting music college, and you hear them, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, God damn it.
Yeah, but then, like, great,
and so much better if they're nice people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because unfortunately, there's one or two out there that's a little bit too up themselves, and names shall not be named.
Why not?
No, I don't do that. No, I want to keep things positive. If I tell a bad story, it remains nameless.
Of course,
the story is the story, but I don't need to put people in shit, or call people out for being cunts. That's their karma. They're gonna fucking, they're gonna get their thing. The story's mine because I lived through it, but and I've triumphed out the other end. And we have fun sometimes, but sometimes we work really hard, and that's part of the journey.
You can also work really hard whilst having fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm not saying it's all bad. These are the sort of minority of cases, but those are the ones that give us the best stories, isn't it? It's just, at the time you're like, fuck this, and then as soon as you look back on it, you're like, you know what, we got through it, and that's a little, pat on the back for oneself. I think resilience and perseverance, things like that, are very important. There was a brilliant article written by a friend of mine, Christy Karofsky, with whom I did a podcast as well. As she runs a website called The Real Human Musician. Sorry, yes. And she wrote a good article on resilience. About when things go well, but also to stick with it when things don't go so well. Because one of her examples was she played with or sang. She's a singer. She sang along with a DJ, or it was an electronic outfit anyway, called the Free Fall Collective, and they did quite well. They did Glastonbury main stage in front of like 10,000 people, and they did festival, like big sort of things. And then about 3 months later, she got asked to do a gig with an acoustic guitarist in a Starbucks. And the only people that were there was her mum and dad.
Nice.
And she said halfway through the set, the cleaner started vacuuming. Like, under her feet, she had to lift her feet up as she was. And she said, if ever there was a moment I was going to quit, this was going to be it. Because after that super high pumping adrenaline and performing, in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And then to mum and dad in a Starbucks. And us as musicians, well, I'm not really classing myself as a musician, but creative people. Mm-hmm. I think, there's a reason why we're creative is because, not just musicians or engineers, but, I suppose comedians and actors and we've got a way of looking at things, and sometimes that makes us a little bit more sensitive to the world, and the emotions are sort of like up and down, whereas if you've got a fucking job in a bank, it's like every day is going to be like that, right? Mm-hmm. But with these, we get ups and downs, like this period we're in right now, which is very unfortunate and very scary, but everybody's losing work, and all work is getting cancelled. So this is one of the lower parts where you're like, oh, maybe if I'd worked in a bank, I would have gotten paid leave or something like that. But we don't. And we persevere because it's a passion and it burns bright. As long as you can keep that fire stoked. And if you've got I love that quote in Meet Joe Black where the lady, the old lady, where she's in hospital and she explains to him it's okay for her to die. She's like, if you're lucky, you got some pretty pictures to take with you. And if you've got those pretty pictures to fall back on, to keep that thing going in the hard times, you triumph out the other side, then that's,
Yeah, well, that's really nice, that. Yeah. I think I've seen that film. Is that the one? It's Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, yeah.
Yeah, where he basically becomes death.
Yeah, right.
It's a great movie, man. Anthony Hopkins.
Does he get hit by a car or something at the beginning? That one?
Death need a vehicle, mate. And
ouch.
Yeah, well, he got his life back, which is more than death does for any of us. So only Brad Pitt, right? Lucky cunt. Yeah, only he would be able to. No, yeah, what a fucking actor, though, man.
Oh, he's amazing. Christ. Yeah,
what an actor.
Pretty good back catalogue.
Yeah, you know it, and some of my favourite movies. Yeah, fucking hell.
He must have done some shit films. Has he done these shit films? Nothing springs to mind straight away.
I really can't think of anything. I mean, he had his start in Thelma and Louise, and then it was True Romance. Did you see him in True Romance, where it's just a stoner? He's on the couch all day smoking bongs. No? Have you not seen True Romance?
I have, but once.
Christian Slater.
And I don't really remember it. It's terrible, right?
Heathen.
I know. I saw it years ago. My wife's a film buff, and she's like, fucking hell, there's so many films that I haven't seen that she's furious about.
Yeah.
But don't embarrass me with that.
Okay. I'm sorry. That was not my intention at all, mate.
It's too late. You've done it. Unbelievable.
Okay. Well, I can see it just sort of like splashes off.
He's
the armor.
Handsome
I just get done talking about how sensitive musicians are, and then I'm like, yeah, you got the thick skin. Walk it off.
Fuck you, man.
Love you, bro. Oh man. So where did you study? You went to college, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. And where was that?
Trinity Laban Conservatoire of Music and Dance.
Cool. I did a gig for them on Saturday.
Oh yeah? They're doing gigs still?
They are doing gigs still. Oh, am I doing gigs still?
Well, who is doing gigs at the moment? What was the gig?
It was at Ronnie's.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Oh, right.
The thing at Ronnie's during the day, Saturday afternoon gig.
Nice.
They do it sort of once a year, I think.
Yeah.
Or once every 6 months even.
That was my first gig at Ronnie's when I was at Trinity.
How long ago was that?
What? When did I start or finish? I graduated in 2013.
When was your first gig at Ronnie's?
Oh, sorry. That was. I guess I don't know. I think it was maybe in first year. So 2096. Yeah, just couldn't graduate past the first year. Had to keep taking it.
Van Wildering it. I'm having such a good time.
I think it was so 2009. Must have been first year. Yeah, we did. What did we do? I remember we did a Mingus project, Mingus Big Band. It was really good fun. And I was on baritone again. Always lumbered on baritone.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I might have worked on that gig.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, because I started there 2008.
Right.
And yeah, I used to get the...
I tell a lie, I wasn't on baritone, I was on tenor. It was the second project that we did there that was on baritone.
Okay.
Which was... don't remember what that was.
So it's been a while that you've been frequenting Ronnie Schatz's Sports Bar and Grill.
Yeah. I think but the first gig I did there under my own name was when I was in last year, in fourth year. So on one of Alex Garnett's late shows. And that
awesome.
That was great.
No, what a legend, man.
I know. He's amazing. He's one of my all-time favourite saxophonists and all-time favourite human beings.
Right,
He's
super cool guy.
Yeah, I love him to bits. We're very lucky to have him.
Yes, we are. But we're lucky to have you as well, mate.
Ah,
you know.
Shucks!
So, who was the... who were you playing with the first time you did your light thing? Was it with Tim? No,
it wasn't. No, so it was a quartet I put together with a piano player at college who was in a year below me, a guy called Sam James. And we'd done a little project that was like a cross-generation thing with two of the tutors at college, amazing bass player Steve Watts and awesome drummer Gene Calderazzo, and we were kind of doing...
Gene. What a legend.
Well, a motherfucker, yeah.
What a legend.
We were playing kind of like some Coltrane stuff and late train. And I remember I was so fucking nervous because we went on after Tom Harrell, and that was his first gig in the country for about 25 years. And it was really... I went to see to see his show, and it was, I mean, incredibly moving actually, because he, someone that suffers with schizophrenia, and his stage presence is, he's obviously afflicted with this condition, and he kind of, when he's not playing, he kind of stands there and had his head down and doesn't say anything, and in between each tune, the audience was so captivated and dead silent. I've never seen it like that at Ronnie's before. And then at the end of the gig, after playing this incredibly beautiful music, he just kind of steps up to the microphone and goes, "Thank you."
Yeah,
and the whole audience, that everyone stood up and they're like, "Ah!" Straight away. Thunderous applause, and it was amazing to see that, right. and be there after his quite a long a period where he hadn't played over here, and the band was ridiculous as well, and it was great, but pretty daunting to have to go on after that,
right?
But an amazing opportunity, and that was...
You must have done something right because you're still there.
Well, yeah, I guess it's great. I love it. I'm really fortunate to play there regularly, and love it there. Yeah,
you are, but also you merit it. It's not without, and I can tell you that there's sort of like a level where you got to be at, and you're definitely above that. Thanks, otherwise. Man. You wouldn't be called back over and over again. You're a nice guy, but it only goes that far. You only play the wrong notes a few times. Everybody's like, I'm only kidding, man. No, but I honestly, I do think that you're a fantastic player, and when you bring your quartet up, and you've got either your dad or Tim Thornton and Rick Simpson you play with quite frequently, and old Ed on the drums. You're a long lost brother who's a little bit shorter than you are, but I don't know. You guys kind of, it's amazing with hairstyle that you remind me of each other a little bit.
Not even related.
No, I know you're not. But, you're both Richardsons, so in my head you're.
So we must be, yeah.
Yeah, you must be.
You're both Richardsons. You're both twats. You must be related.
That's right. Well, I think twats would have come first
Right.
before the
Okay.
Richardsons.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. And yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see that.
Because people can see who you are before they know your surname.
It's true. Yeah. Both twats. Both got brown hair. Well, I'm pretty grey.
Getting there. But so am I.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Not
bro.
so much on your hair though. You
No,
got
the beard
the
is
beard.
the
Yeah.
beard is taking the brunt.
When did you start going grey?
Oh, I don't know. Probably about 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had a sort of not a lot of sleep. Where I would work since we moved back from Italy when my daughter was born. She went from 18 months. She went one morning a week. She would go to nursery. So I'd finish at 4 in the morning and up at 7 and look after her and then go to work. And I did that for a few years, and then my body just said, priority staying awake or coloring the beard hair, and it just sort of staying awake kind of got the upper hand there, and so the color in the hair just sort of, and that's why it started at the bottom. I have no idea what I'm talking about. You look like this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, sure, man. I think I started going grey about 16.
Wow.
Yeah, fucking hard life,
Yeah, clearly. Public school, playing.
Public school? No, state school, man.
State school. Wait, what's it? State school is like where everybody can go.
Public school you pay
is
for.
when you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
so it's not for the public then.
Yeah, I've never understood why it's called that. Public school, private school. Those are the
ones.
That's the fee-paying ones.
Fee-paying motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Yeah.
Shit. Cool.
But
well, I'm
great.
really sorry.
Very
That's
great.
the state school. All those ruffians in the school band that stressed you out, or was it getting your grade 5?
I'm not going to
in the
lie. It
clarinet?
wasn't exactly a rough school. It was a really nice school.
Yeah.
Just not
Good.
a fee-paying one.
Okay. Well, there are good schools out there, and I think
Yeah.
the government wants to be educated. They can pay for it. All that book learning stuff.
What are you fucking talking? We digress.
Don't we just? So over the years, you tell me a bit about some of the highlights, some of the people that you've played with that that for you was a little pat on the back to oneself.
I've been really fortunate the last few years. I mean, kind of pretty much just when I left.
Everyone, man.
Left college. It
boomed.
Well, not necessarily boomed. It's something that's it doesn't just happen overnight. It's a slow burner, but like every year has got better. With the exception of this one, which is probably going to go down the shitter for most people.
For most people, I think. Yeah.
But that's that's by the by. But I've been really fortunate to play with lots of amazing people and travel the world. I think like my first, first like really exciting experience of when pretty much as soon as I came out of college, and you're green and you're like, you say yes to everything, and I was trying to get as much teaching as possible and trying to juggle all that with performances and bits of touring and stuff. And I think the first gig that I got, I ended up doing a short little week. It was a week or a few days away in South America, in Colombia and Ecuador, with amazing, and it was through with Quentin Collins, and he got.
And that's when you started getting grey, right?
Yeah, sure.
All the marching powder.
we went to. It was with a guy called Mulatu Astatki, who I dep for every now and then, in that band, and that was amazing. Have you heard of Mulatu? Mm-mm. He's known as the godfather of Ethio jazz.
Ethio jazz,
yeah. It started in the 60s, and he's a percussionist and vibraphone player and piano player, and writes some amazing music that you may have heard, and you'll hear it in quite a lot of film soundtracks, and it's been sampled in quite a lot of hip hop as well. And it's kind of like groove based, but the music is based on 5-note Ethiopian modes, and it's kind of music. It's sort of hard for you to not like it. I think it's amazing. It's great. It's very hypnotic, and what's also amazing about it as well at the gigs, it's a really interesting demographic that go. It's generally quite a lot of young people.
Great.
Going to see this music, the average age is a lot of the time kind of mid 20s to late to mid 30s or so as well, which is great. And I always love the opportunity to play with those guys. It's an amazing band. I haven't done it for maybe a year or so, but yeah. So I guess that was an experience that really stood out, and it was pretty nerve-wracking as well. So the first gig we had was in Colombia, and we were in this beautiful theatre, and the local sound engineers were pretty incompetent. There was 3 people on the monitor desk trying to work out how to fucking use the thing.
Nice.
And
gives you confidence right from the get-go, right?
So they always take their own front of house engineer, and he was losing his shit, and what was supposed to be like an hour sound check and quick rehearsal, so I'd never played with them, and we hadn't run through the music. It ended up lasting for about 3 hours. We didn't play one tune through. Mulatu was in a bit of a mood, quite understandably so.
Yeah.
And I had the first solo of the evening, and I didn't know how the fuck, how it's supposed to, what we were doing, and like no run through, so I was shitting myself. But we got through, and then the next gig was amazing. We were in Ecuador, and that was really cool.
Great, man.
But yeah, I guess the last few years it's just been
upwards and onwards.
Yeah, I've got my own band, and then just working as, I guess what you'd say, session musician, doing bits and bobs, and
teaching.
I don't do too much teaching anymore.
Right.
I currently only do half a day.
Okay. So enough people found out that you're not really qualified.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
He don't know shit.
Fucking book learned.
So yeah, I mean, yeah.
You gotta read music for. It's what you got your ears for.
Yeah, it's been like, what's amazing about doing what we do is that you can do such a wide variety of stuff, and you don't just have to do one thing. And unfortunately, as much as I'd love to, you can't make a living really just playing jazz in this country. So I love doing other bits as well. I love playing in horn sections, doing pop music. I
love your Hooligan Horns.
Oh, awesome!
It's fantastic,
it's
man.
A lot
Every
of fun,
time
isn't
I'm
it?
like, yeah, listen to the tunes. It's brilliant.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad you like that.
Yeah.
Yes, doing that kind of thing, and dep every so often in West End shows, and bits of session work and touring, and it's awesome. I love it.
Well, we got to keep ourselves busy.
Absolutely.
And as I said, I don't think I can, say this enough. The importance of having, if you're not just, even if it is within your field, to have a hobby, to have something else that's not like, right, this is as much fun as I can have at work. This isn't just work, right? So, like you say, you're doing the horn section stuff, and you're doing other things which are also fun, as well as it is sort of work. You know,
I think I'm really fortunate that most of my work I consider fun
work.
anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a chore. Even going and do like weddings and stuff. Like you know, if when you're playing with a bunch of mates, or if you know, when the quality of the music's really good, it doesn't fucking matter that you're playing to, you know, a bunch of people that you don't know that you're never going to see again, and then they're not there for the music. But like it's still fun. I love it.
Yeah,
you know,
it is, and you know, I like those because it feels like a little getaway, especially like you say, if everybody gets along and everything is fucking, and as you know, people kind of look down on function bands sometimes, right? As like, oh, is that, you know, you haven't really done anything, you just play in a function band. And even if you do, so fucking what, right? Yeah. But the thing is, how I kind of look at it is like you're part of somebody's most special day, right? So you get to share in that. You get to be that good memory for them, you know. So there's a lot of fucking goodness and honor in that, and nothing wrong with it. And they pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly. They
pay quite well, you know.
Work's work.
That's it, bro. Even if it's, people are always like, oh, but that's not enough. I'm not, you know. One of the engineers who shall remain nameless, we're not in contact anymore, he used to say, oh, I don't get out of bed for less than 200 a day. Like, okay, well, so you'd rather take nothing than 100 quid or whatever. I don't get that. Somebody offers me work, and you know, I'm in the same fortunate position as you are, where I enjoy my work very much. I'm a social person. I enjoy hanging out and you know, making some sound. And if I had nothing else going on that day and I didn't have any commitments, fuck yeah, why not? You know, take it. 100 quid a day is better than no quids a day.
Of course, absolutely.
You know? And not being too good for anything. You know, I think once you reach, or if you're that kind of person, then it's gonna end up coming around.
Of course.
And obviously you don't want to undercut the industry. You don't want to do that. But if a mate asks, can you do this? Or if, you know, I still do a lot of sort of like installing and de-rigging stuff for companies like Delta Live. So we install some of the prom stuff in the Royal Albert Hall. We do the Roundhouse and things like that. So, you know, yes, I've been a sound engineer for full-time 12 years. But if somebody sends me some crewing work, can you come and do an install in a D-rig here, 65 quid a pop? I'm like, yeah. I'm not too good to fucking push flight cases. I'm not too good to do any of this stuff. And it's a good hang most of the time, you know, because we're all a bunch of crazy bastards, you know, and you know, the comedy usually ensues. So you know, it's a good thing. And yeah, obviously you're not gonna undercut the industry. There's a line that's got to be drawn. If somebody comes and tells me, can you do this gig for 60 quid for a 12-hour day or something, like, no.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, no. Even if I've got nothing else on that day, that's the day. Then I'd rather, you know, not. But you know, obviously there's tiers and categories. For an install on D-rig, it's a couple of hours. Fuck it, of course. You know, nobody's getting undercut. There's no underpayment or anything like that. Then yes. But anyway, there's that. But yeah. So where were we?
We were just talking about that.
Just that. Right.
Music.
Okay.
What I've been doing and shit.
For your listening pleasure, do you partake in jazz frequently, or have you got other styles of music apart from, you know, soul and things like that? Rock and roll, hip hop. You get into any classical music?
Not so much hip hop.
Yes. I liked you.
I mean, like, yeah, music's music. If it's good, it's good. And
I like that answer.
It's, obviously I love jazz and I listen to jazz all the time. But if something's good, it's good. I went to see a couple of weeks back, amazing gig. Went to see Derek Trucks and Derek Trucks and the Tedeschi Trucks band. Do you know them?
No.
Derek Trucks is like a slide guitarist, and it's kind of I guess it's rocky,
What, like
country.
a pedal steel?
No, bottleneck.
Slide,
yeah. And he's fucking unbelievable. And his wife Susan Tedeschi, she's a singer and guitarist in the band, and it was just amazing. And yeah, I went with my wife and we went to see the gig. Actually, it was at Wembley, the SSE Arena,
Cool.
and the sound was really good. Couldn't
Great.
believe it.
Great.
You could hear everything. Yes.
Well, actually, I've been to a fair few gigs there, and the sound has been spot on there.
Yeah.
But
for
for
somewhere
such a
that's
large
so
space.
big, yeah, exactly.
Whereas at the O2, it's
man.
really bad.
Ridiculous.
I just wouldn't go to a gig there
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know a blues slide player called Eric Sardinas?
No.
You should definitely check this guy out.
Okay.
If you like blues slide guitar, this guy is the master. And first time I saw him was he opened for Steve Vai. I went to go see Steve Vai. And do you know who Steve Vai is?
Where was that?
Hammersmith Apollo.
Okay. I haven't been there in years.
Yeah, I've done a couple of gigs there, and I've seen some fantastic gigs there. Yeah, so it's a good space, but it can also be hit and miss, unfortunately. More hit than miss there, but places like Brixton Academy is like it. I've seen. Who did I see there? I saw System of a Down there in 2006, I think.
Right. What was the sound like?
And that was great.
Really?
It was fantastic. Really, really good. And then I saw something else. I can't remember. I saw something else in between. Oh, that was right. We went there to see I think Groove Armada for when I was in college. We had 2 outings to go and compare styles and what it sounds like, and it was excruciating.
Awful? Oh man,
it was really bad, really, really, really bad.
That's
Just
so
too
shit.
loud and too many cunts about, mate. And then I went to see Skunk and Nancy there in 2009, and that was fucking incredible. Really good. I mean, that was like basically being home for them,
Wow.
Because they're from Brixton.
Yeah, right.
And that was so good.
I saw D'Angelo there a few years ago, and the sound was awful.
Really?
It was such a shame. Like the best bit at a gig was when it was just him sitting at the Rhodes singing solo for about 5 or 6 tunes, because you could hear it all.
Yeah.
And the sound was abysmal. It was such a shame, because it was like...
It is a shame. And, actually, Joe and I talked about this as well, where the quality, and he asked me, what is it? Why sometimes are things good and sometimes they're not? Is it the sound engineers that are incompetent? Or, the thing is, I think there are factors involved where... Everybody, we're all people. It could be this guy's been on tour. If the act, whoever it is, brings their own engineer, right? There could be multiple factors. He's fucking hungover because they were partying last night. He's tired. He's had a shitty day. He's had a fight with another half because he's been away from home for 6 months. Or they had a super tight time restriction. Maybe they arrived late. There are all these factors that unfortunately come into play, and for us, and you know yourself as a musician going on tour, you go around, you play the same tunes, you play them in different places, right? So out of say 20 gigs that you've got in 3 weeks, one of those gigs might be bad, and for you it's just another gig. It's like, oh shit, this happened, but for the people who are there, unfortunately, that's the gig.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I I always think, and I approach my work like this, that every gig is an audition for my job. I got to bring it every time. But otherwise, I'm not going to...
Of course, everyone should do that regardless of what your job is.
But unfortunately, sometimes shit happens.
Yeah.
They could be all sorts of... Somebody get complacent, maybe this, maybe that.
But when you're watching a show for a whole evening, sure, if it's something that starts off a bit shit, you can excuse that. But there's not really an excuse
if it continues on, then yeah.
I always hate when you go to shows as well, and it's like it starts off so quiet, and then it kind of slowly goes up.
And then you walk out with bleeding ears.
Well, yeah, and actually, in fact, the Derek Trucks gig that we saw, the sound was amazing, but it started it started off super quiet, and I could I was kind of talking at this volume
over the music
to my wife next to me. And then, then by the end of it, it wasn't, ears bleeding. It was perfect. Then it was like, great, we're in a stadium. It's that kind of level. We can hear everything except the bass is maybe a little bit lost. There's not really any definition there, but that's kind of to be expected. But I don't. Why is it? Why is that? Is there a reason that you got to start quiet and then slowly push it up?
I wasn't there, but if I can kind of.
But the levels were amazing. Like everything, the balance was great. You could hear everything perfectly, but it was just, this is so quiet. Turn it up.
Maybe they didn't get quite the soundtrack that they wanted to get, or the engineer wasn't confident in the room, and he tested it. He did his soundcheck at a specific level, and then when it fills up with 20,000 people or whatever, then all that sound gets absorbed.
They had a support band before, and it was exactly the same thing.
It started too quiet, and then it ended up just right. That's weird. I don't know. I mean, for me personally,
not right, in the first tune, kind of maybe maybe fifth tune in.
Oh right, so not straight away.
No. It was just like a slow, but maybe it was let's trick him into thinking it's all right. I don't know.
I have no idea. I have no idea what could have been the reason for that. Maybe the guy was not confident. The engineer wasn't confident, and that's also a factor. Sometimes you get guys who could potentially be great, but they're still on their journey. I mean, I haven't always done the best gigs, especially in the beginning. On tour, I went, and it takes just a little bit to get into it. I think it was probably maybe a confidence thing. I don't know. Personally, I'd rather sound check a little bit louder and then bring it back down, especially if I've got sort of a full-on loud band. With jazz now, I know I've kind of got cheat sheets in my head. This is the kind of EQ that I want. I know how the room responds and Ronnie is, but every time you go to a new room, then you got to tailor.
Yeah, of course.
And you got to adjust, and you got all these sorts of things.
How do you find the room? Because it's quite. It can be quite a hard room to play in because it's so dead in there.
It's very dead. It's very good. Yeah, everything needs to be added, which is great. I mean, for
it's
us,
hard.
It's nice because I always kind of explain it as it's a blank canvas that we get to work with. I don't have to go and rub too much stuff out. I don't have to polish it off. Scrape some paint off. Or obviously there is some EQing involved in the room, but the room itself is is a good room. I think they've done it just right.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is we can always pump some of the monitors and not worry so much about the standing waves, feedback issues, even though that's always a possibility if people don't know what they're doing, or if there's a rush, or if there's a this, or if there's that. Because again, there are so many factors. Do we get time to have a sound check? Do we? If you're on 11:30 at night and an engineer's been there since 2, also there is a factor of fatigue.
Of course. It's fucking hard, man, for you guys. That you're there all day.
Actively mixing from 7 p.m. till 3 a.m. is not the easiest thing. That's 8 hours of yes, there are breaks in between, but even then there's music playing and then you're chatting with this. Your ears never really get a chance to just...
And also just having to be on hand that whole time and potentially having to deal with
looking at the stage.
Looking at the stage, dealing with people that
attention.
Might not be so easy to deal with as well on top of that, and names unnamed, and that kind of thing. But it's a very full-on job, isn't it?
It is.
And
I enjoy that element of it, though.
Yeah, of course.
The live element. There's no take two. There's no overdubbing. There's no. The moment is now.
Yeah,
and that's what.
Oh man, live is you compare any live record to a studio one, and more often than not,
feel the energy.
Yeah, of course. There's and that's what I want to do with the next record that we do. We want to do a live one.
Nice.
And that's hopefully going to be a plan for later this year. With that.
Is this with your quartet?
Yes.
Who's going to be involved in that? Is that Rick and Ed and Dad or Tim?
Oh, my dad doesn't play in the quartet. He just joins in at the late show.
Jumps in.
Comes for a jolly.
So
yeah.
It's Tim.
Yeah. So
nice.
Tim, Rick, and Ed.
So Tim Thornton, Rick Simpson, and Ed Richardson.
That's it.
Fantastic players in their own right. Check them out. Actually, I've got Ed coming up in a bit.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! The other Richardson.
Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah. So yeah, we're hopefully going to do a live record towards the end of this year or beginning of next year.
That's awesome.
Because we've got it's a great live energy.
Oh yeah.
And it's a kind of take no prisoners kind of band.
It's great, man. Good.
Which is really fun.
Yeah, there's always good chemistry on stage with you guys. I love seeing your quartet. It's and then obviously you're nice guys as well.
We do try.
You do.
We do
yeah,
try.
I can see that you try. It's obviously it's an effort. It's a.
Thanks, man.
Just telling you the truth. Right? No. It comes very natural. Yeah. No, I didn't think. We've kind of hit it off straight away when we met each other all them years ago.
I have to agree with you there.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I hate all the other guys, but you.
Oh,
I'm joking. I'm kidding.
They're all gonna see that. So the next time you play at Ronnie's and I'm not there, sound is gonna be. There's going to be half a second delay on your monitor. There's going to be delays, mate.
Honestly, do you know what? Like, it's part of playing at Ronnie's and why it's my one of my all-time favorite places to play. There's so many factors with that. Obviously, the history of the club. It's one of the greatest jazz clubs in the world. But all the staff,
long standing.
Yeah. All the staff that are there, the bar staff, the management staff, and like the sound engineers.
It really is like a family.
It's fucking great, and I mean it. That I feel really lucky to be involved in that and part of the family, and I love it, and love all you guys, man. Fucking love it.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a great place, and we're definitely fortunate. Have you ever seen Dr. Lonnie Smith there?
We opened up for him for maybe 3 or 4 nights.
Nice.
I think we've done that twice.
Nice.
That's one of the
best gigs.
Best gigs I've ever seen. Yeah. I've never he's got this amazing aura as it is, right? And just his stage presence is fucking nuts. With his and wearing the turban, it looks fucking amazing, and he's just such a cool dude.
The movie does when he's on the pedals and he falls over in his band.
And he's kind of playing and he has his hand up here and all this shit.
And the stick, his walking stick.
Oh man!
and
he's got his SPD with all those bits and bobs as well. But someone who uses the most incredible dynamics on a Hammond organ, it's it's an amazing instrument, and he's one of the greatest. It's incredible, and every night that we've opened for him, I've always stayed for the show, and it's never disappointed.
No,
amazing. What a top bloke.
Absolutely. I think he's probably number one of my favorite gigs that I've seen there. I mean, and we've
you done
been
sound
so
for it
fortunate.
as well?
Yeah,
Amazing.
I've been very fortunate to have worked with just amazing people. Great bands, great musicians, and I've always found that the best ones are the nicest ones as well, the most relaxed. As soon as somebody walks in and I kind of my old man taught this because he was my rugby coach for a long time. My old man, he was quite a good rugby player, and I was fortunate enough that he was also my coach when I was in school. And when I was captain and I would go flip a coin, he taught me a lot about reading the other captain, and if they're sort of like frothing at the mouth and these guys are ready to go, you're like, man, this is going to be an easy victory, right? But if somebody just walks up and they're super calm and just confident, you're like, fuck, this is going to be hard work, right? Because it's that cool confidence of knowing what you do and you do it well. You don't need to fucking grit teeth at anybody. You don't need to, there's no pretense. There's no,
of course not.
I know what I do. Let's do this together. Let's make it nice. Right. So, the majority of people have been good. And then sometimes you see them walk in and there's, wearing sunglasses indoors. It's usually my first indication. Only two kinds of people wear sunglasses indoors, right? Blind people and asshole. And yes, it's not strictly true for everyone.
What if you're a blind arsehole?
Well, then there's no hope for you, is there? You could always just turn right back out the front door, son. What was it? Is it Miles Davis that basically walked in, had a look, and was like, "Nope," fucking walked out or something like that. James Pearson.
I don't know that story, but very possibly, yeah.
James. Because the thing is, all the portraits of the musicians in Ronnie's are people who have played there, right? Whether the picture was taken there or not doesn't matter. But those people have all played there, with the exception of Miles Davis. And he used to hang right above the piano on the pillar there. And James would point to him every night. Man, in the beginning, when I just started working there, and it was the Ronnie Scott's jazz quintet, or the Ronnie Scott's All Stars, there were Sam Burgess on the bass, James Pearson, and then Chris
Higginbottom.
No, not Higginbottom.
Dagley.
Before, yeah. That was, what a sad story. I was drinking with them the night it happened as well. I was so shocked when it had happened. And
it's fucking bleak.
Yeah, but
my dad used to have a band with him, so I knew him from when I was growing up, and he was such a super nice guy as well, and one of the greatest drummers,
Mate, I've got a video on my other. I made a YouTube channel fucking years ago, right? I don't use that one now for this, but I'll post a link to that, where we were going to get them in between the houses on a Saturday night, and just the silliness that we got up to in the dressing room. And Chris was playing, those big 20, how big are they? 25 litre, those water jugs.
Oh, right.
With the thingy. He used that and made sounds on the floor and played the drums like that. It was brilliant. And I remember there was once Tim had to go and replug a microphone. So he's like, "Can you stay behind the desk for a second?" Because I was doing the sound check. This is in the early days. I was still, getting grunt shifts only. And so Tim's sort of behind James on the floor on his knees because the gig's happening and he just wants to go and plug a new cable in. James has a look over and he just kicks the piano stool away and he sits on Tim's back. And Tim's on all fours and James is sitting on his back playing the piano and everybody's erupting. And Tim's just like, what do I do? He's in a solo. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to let him finish his solo.
Oh, poor Tim. That's fucking brilliant.
So good.
Oh, man. When was that?
Oh, this
I would
is
have
like
loved to see that.
2009.
Oh,
you
man.
know, long time ago. That
Fuck.
was so funny to see. And the whole club. It was, yeah, but we all used to drink quite a lot more back then. So yeah, silliness ensued.
Quite right.
Yeah, shit, man. And I were you there the night when I called one of the female singers a lady of the night during the announcement?
You're fucking joking.
Exactly like that. I said, so ladies and gentlemen, because her band came on and they were vamping, right? This is day 2 of a 6-day run with this, and we used to get along really well, her and I, very well. And I was honestly trying to big her up, right? And I'm like, so ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the lady of tonight. And everybody just went like, wow. The entire club. I'm like, no. You don't understand. That's not what I said. I said, the lady of tonight, the star, here she is. And, we haven't worked together since.
Oh, my
She did not take kindly to it, unfortunately.
No.
And I had all the best intentions of, just bigging her up. So, yeah. Definitely watch what you say, kids. Again, back to artists being sensitive, right?
Oh,
she
man.
just did not like that.
Man, I've had some absolute corkers, like especially at these kind of the kind of rural jazz clubs. The
Milford Haven on the end of the M4.
Yeah, exactly. The people that run these places, I mean, it's amazing that they're going and we need these places and the people that come to them and everything, and it's obviously great. But like, we had, I'll never forget, we had one of these. People at these gigs often have a way of giving you these horrendous backhanded compliments, and you're like, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just be
You
nice.
don't need to
just
say
say thanks or I enjoyed that
or nothing
or whatever. Yeah,
Say
exactly.
nothing.
Yeah, that's it. And
Thank you, bye.
or like at the end of the gig and you've just done this.
Thanks for ruining my night, you cunt.
You've done like a really
money for that.
you've done like a really high energy number and you finish on like
On the money shot.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. You don't need to do any more. Like when you finish on a number like that, there's no need for an encore. That's like you leave it. But like the people that run these places as well often feel that they need to go up and say something, whether that's the raffle or what's on next week. But it's the way you say it, and it's like, fuck. We had this one once. Obviously, the place will remain unnamed, but like. The guy came up and we played pretty. We just finished. We're still standing there, and then he goes, "Wow, even I've had enough of that." Well, if you didn't like that, you should definitely come back next week. And we're like, fucking hell, man. and he comes up to us afterwards. He was like, fuck, that was amazing. You got to come and play at our other club as well. I was like, why don't you just fucking say that? Unbelievable.
Yeah, what was all that?
Yeah. Even I think he was supposed to, like, he was trying to say, wow, that's even worn me out. Like, it's
like
it's
the
high
energy and everything was so
but
good.
It just comes out wrong, and it's not how you intend it. And everyone that says this shit, that it's meant with good intentions. Someone said to me before, well, the first set was great.
Okay.
Fuck you!
Just leave that hanging. Damn. So what did I do?
What was wrong with the second set?
There's the 3 pints in the break. It is.
Never.
Only 4.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
I used to... Jesus. Yeah. As you know, I've stopped drinking a little while ago. I used to get just... This is not very professional. Don't do this at home. Or
Kids.
At work, actually. Rather, don't do this at work. Yeah, we used to have about 4 pints between 6 and 7, and then go back and work. I think I've grown up a little bit and become a bit more responsible. But it's one of the dangers, though. Because it's such a social job, and we see different musicians every day, and we're all mates. So it's always like, oh, at the pub with this one, at the pub with that one, at the pub with this one. Oh, I haven't seen these guys; they haven't been around for 6 months. American bands that you regularly work with, or bands from elsewhere. You're like, oh, let's go to Garlic and Shots. Let's have a few blood shots, and then woo, it's Friday night, woo, and then you've got a break, and then it's like 3 a.m. and you're like, you've got to pack up the stage. But luckily, I've never lost control to where I couldn't.
That's what you think.
Yeah, that's when you start calling the stars the lady of the night, right?
Why is there a ring modulator in my monitor? For fuck's sake!
Why is my monitor delayed? Why? Yeah, we have that power. So
I do. I have to say, I do enjoy the few occasions where I'm allowed to come and sit in the sound booth with you guys.
You're always welcome, mate.
I fucking love that.
You are always welcome.
And occasionally,
a beer.
Been allowed to use the microphone and speak with people on the stage. That's been quite amusing. Of course, only in the
people that you know.
The people I know in the very wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
But
when we've all had a drink.
Yeah.
All right. We've all had a drink. We're all friends here.
When I've just said words of encouragement through the monitor, of course, yeah. And never anything rude. No.
Can't.
No. No, I wouldn't dream of.
No. We've got positive vibes. Going.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. As we said before, we're very supportive of each other. We all love each other very much, and we hope you have a good time.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's great. It really is. There's a vibe there like no others. So, worst tour or gig experience that you've had?
Worst gig experience, again, hands down.
Even I've had enough of that.
Oh man, this is. Oh. I remember this the other day.
Had to work for your money.
No, it's not even the hardest. It's the most embarrassed I've ever been.
Okay. Knowing you, that's Yeah.
It takes a lot to embarrass me. And I take I take my work very seriously. I always want to do a good job.
Yes.
And I will, if there's any prep required, I'll do it. I'll always become prepared to whatever it is, and regardless of the gig. And regardless of what you're being paid, you say yes to something, so you do a fucking good job. And I think I was maybe in second year at college, and I'd done like a few gigs with the band. It was a kind of a weird thing. It was like a Motown and Bollywood music fusion. With like a horn section. It was kind of interesting. I did like a handful of gigs with them.
Who's this band? Or is this?
It's not. It was a band called Bowtown, of course.
Bollywood Motown.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it was. I probably did like 3 or 4 gigs with them, but one of the guys in the band had rung me up to do an Indian wedding, and he ran an Asian music agency, and so they like had a lot of Bhangra bands on their roster, and like bits and bobs, different kinds of things. So he called me up and he said, "How are you with like Bollywood music?" I'm like, "I don't know any Bollywood music whatsoever." And he's like, "Yeah, but you've done Bowtown." I'm like, "Yeah, it's horn lines. It's yeah." He said, "You'll be fine. I got his wedding in a few weeks. If you want to come and do it." I'm like, "Okay, just send me some shit to learn." And he said, "Don't worry, man, you'll be fine. There's another guy there. He'll be able to show you what to do." Like, so I'm assuming there's a trumpet player or something who's going to tell me what to do, and it's going to be something similar I've already done. And let me
guess, you were playing along to a DJ.
Oh no, way worse than that. I kept contacting him and said,
I want the dots.
Please, can you send me something to learn? Like, send me any tracks to listen to, anything. He said, Leo, stop worrying. You're going to be absolutely fine. You're going to know this shit. It's cool. Okay, fine. I like, don't say I didn't try. Like, you know, it was, I'd hounded him maybe at least 3 or 4 times. I was proactive about it, you know. I arrive, and it was fucking huge. There was maybe 500 people there. They had a marquee just for welcome drinks, and then like and then into another one that was beautiful, you know, like one of these. It was very, very glitzy glam, and it turned out that the music was just me and a violinist doing walk round Bollywood classics and requests for everyone there.
So and requests. So it's not even like so you've
Bollywood
got
requests, and you've got 2 melodic instruments, so there's no harmony going there, and wow. I was completely beside myself. We played for about 3 hours. I have no fucking idea what we played.
Or how you got through it.
I don't know. I remember one point that this guy he was walking around with his violin playing the little bass line to Nirvana's "Come As You Are."
Brilliant.
I'm like, why are we playing this? I don't know. He was just like, oh fuck it, whatever, we'll play anything.
Play something.
And he was just like, what do you mean you don't know anybody? I'm like, man, I asked the dude so many times. I'm so embarrassed. Like, and the funniest bit is that he got in touch with me, the guy around the agency was like, thanks for doing a great job. Are you free next week to do it again? I'm like,
nope.
Fuck off.
Never.
No
Never
way.
Again.
I've never felt so shit on a gig. Like, it was just awful.
The thing is, they don't drink either, so it's not like people are going to get drunk and forget about it.
Oh, man.
No,
there was booze there.
Oh, was there? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not really a done thing, though, to be drinking at Indian weddings.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe they...
Hey, they're westernized.
Religious, yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
but it was...
yeah. No, I've had one of the weirdest ones, right? So there's a band I work with, a function band quite often, The Sessions. They're great, fantastic, really good musicians, solid bunch of people, nice people, right? And I'm standing in this marquee, and there's a couple sitting. I'm on the iPad, right? Because we've got one of these desks for the gig, so it's iPad control. And I'm standing there, and the band's playing, and there's a couple over there, right? Good-looking woman and a fucking giant, right? And this woman keeps looking at me. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And every time she sort of wants to get up, he grabs her arm and sits her down, right? I'm like, okay, what is going on here? And he goes to the toilet, and she comes to me. She says to me, oh, do you watch Game of Thrones? I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, do you know who Khal Drogo is? I'm like, no, I don't. It's like, well, you look like him, and you're my Game of Thrones fantasy, and my husband is getting really upset because I just want to come and talk to you. I'm like, well, maybe you should not be standing here talking to me, because that's going to get both of us in trouble, and I haven't done anything, lady. And then the guy came back, and he was just glaring at me all night. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I don't look like the guy in the first place. I'm not that guy, and please don't kill me.
I have to say, I've never seen it, so I can't comment on that.
No,
whether you look like him or not.
The most random things. Yeah, but what people come up with when they've had a few.
Oh man,
just all sorts of everything.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Oh,
I've seen some pretty crazy shit.
At weddings.
Oh man, Lord. I remember doing a party. It was a New Year's Eve party. This was pretty fucking bonkers. Quite some years ago now, and it was a joint New Year's Eve party and the person's daughter's 18th birthday, and it was this massive house in, where was it? I think it was in like Harlow, and these people had a lot of money, and the poor guy, the birthday girl was in bed, paralytic by 7 p.m. Yeah, so and
That was a good party.
oh yeah,
Great party.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts, and there was a fight on the dance floor. Blood was spilled by
Murder on the dance floor.
I mean, crazy. By like 9:30, blood spilled.
Brilliant.
The fight was broken up by none other than Mr. Bradley Walsh. And like Bradley Walsh, do you know him? You've never seen The Chase? Come on, TV quiz show.
No,
He's hilarious.
Sorry, mate. I don't have a TV.
He's a
He's
pillar.
a famous guy.
Oh yeah.
Right.
He's pretty amusing. But he was a guest there, and it was just really funny that he was breaking this fight up. But man, you see some pretty funny shit at functions.
Right. And I think probably one of the worst sort of when I was in college, I worked for a company called Dream Events, and they mainly do Jewish events.
Mm-hmm.
So bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, weddings, and the likes, and the forth, and so on and so on and so on. And probably the worst thing I've seen was we were doing a bar mitzvah. This I might say it's bar mitzvah for a boy, bat mitzvah for a girl. I think. I don't know.
You're correct.
Anyway, right. So this boy's birthday party. We were in this. It's called Gilgamesh. The
Yeah,
place
in Camden. Yeah.
Right. So we were there. Big gig, nice, everything. And then the dads get drunk and start fist fighting because this guy owed the other guy £100 at their kid's party. Just like, no, this is not cool. Yeah, always a fight, and the majority of the time it's about money. It's crazy, isn't it? But then there's also, all sorts of everything else, jealousy and the likes, which, woo, yeah, it's fun times. It's fun times driving to go do a gig and then, just watching all the comedy ensue.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
It's or just.
We are really the flies on the wall.
Absolutely,
at these events because a lot of the time you're just there.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the time, people come and, depending on where it is in the room and how it's situated. But a lot of the times they see you, but they don't see you, and you get to see what's going on here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant.
And, you get like just a glimpse sometimes
of the soap opera that's people's lives.
Yeah, or just like kind of a glimpse of this ridiculously, so much wealth and opulence, and that you get to see on a fairly regular basis. Not even the top 1%, like the top half of stupid money.
The top 1% of the top 1%.
Yeah, exactly.
the cream of the cream.
It's bonkers, yeah, and some of the shit you see, and the way people behave as well. I remember
you're like, these fucking people are animals,
man.
How did you get where you are? Because I'm a decent person, I behave decently. You're like a fucking gorilla.
It's nuts, man. I think probably some of the most outrageous shit I've ever seen was on a gig with Ed as well, and we were doing this. This gig has gone down in the history books. It's the pretty infamous function that was in Santorini. This must be about six years or so now ago, and this couple were getting married, and they'd flown out 2 18-piece bands from the UK to Santorini, and we were all staying in the same hotel.
One band was shit.
Well, they were having a lot of music,
Right. So you guys did sort of like a leapfrog sort of thing.
Well, that was the idea. It was going to be 2 sets, 2-hour sets, and they chartered 2 private planes, one for the guests, one for the staff and bands and waiting staff and everything. Everyone's come from the UK.
Jesus,
and
that is a lot of money.
Yep. And it would have cost millions this time. The gig it got rained off, and also the groom had his bachelor's party the night before and got so fucking wasted that he was too hungover to get married the next day. They had a DJ the night before. He opened up a bottle of champagne and emptied it on the DJ's gear and his laptop, and this guy's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, don't worry, man, I'll buy you a new one. Cunt. Yeah.
Not just about that. Maybe this guy had pictures of his fucking kid.
Yeah, exactly.
On there.
It's fucking crazy. You know, you don't do that shit. So we're left with this. You know, they've asked us, guys, can you stay another day, please? Obviously, you'll get more money for it.
Wedding.
We're going to move the wedding. So you've got all those people that have been asked to stay another day, right? And the other band were like, fuck this. They went home. Because they couldn't all stay, so they basically went out to Santorini and got paid for a jolly. Can you imagine 36 people from the UK all in the same place? It was carnage. Yeah, it was fucking carnage. One of the worst.
36 musicians plus all the guests.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've never been so hungover in my life. We get to the day of the gig, and it turns out we ended up playing a set 4 hours straight, 4 hour set, and it was just so funny. But like, the behavior of the guests, and particularly the couple of this wedding, it was fucking crazy. So it was a Greek wedding, and traditionally they have
cool.
I've had 2 calls, and it's they got on Do Not Disturb, except my favourites can get through. And my wife and my dad have called me, so apologies.
Right. Well, at least they're your favourites. So there's a proof. You guys don't need any more proof. It's definitely his favourites.
They typically or traditionally the smash plates at a wedding. So we're playing on the dance floor. Suddenly, all these waiters. They come around the dance floor, not with like holding plates like this, stacks and stacks of plates, and they're lobbing this shit on the dance floor. The waiters are clearing it up with snow shovels. There's that much debris on the floor. They're fucking doing this. They bring out a fire pit later. That the groom started the fire with an incredibly expensive bottle of brandy, and then some of the guests started putting the furniture in the fire. They started ripping their shirts off, burning those. They tried to rip our shirts off whilst we're playing to come, and they're like, "Oh, come on, man! Give me a shirt!" Right? It's this kind of behaviour. They got the wedding cake. They cut it with a sword. Then they threw it on the floor.
The cake, not the sword.
They threw the cake on the floor. So there's all this kind of behaviour, and like, I remember I was talking to someone on the bar who I'd randomly met at a gig. And we were in like, he was in the artist bar room, and so it was just like, I'd maybe seen him a year ago, and we just thought, fuck, this is funny. So anyway, we're chatting. He's on the other side of the bar. Someone had lobbed a glass bottle in our general direction. Probably not. Who knows? Maybe
somebody just threw it.
Yeah, and it went right in between our heads.
Whoa.
And we're like, fucking hell. It was nuts. But the best bit is this guy is. I don't know if he's still there, but he got locked up in for sexual harassment at work of like a serious nature. I mean, fucking hell, you can't write this shit. It's
my lord. Yeah, it writes itself.
It's crazy, isn't it? And it's just like, oh man,
it's like The Hangover in real life.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
It's crazy how people just get so absolutely like. There's this demon inside them that as soon as they've had a few bevies. I think it's because they're so repressed in their real life.
Maybe. I mean, these guys, they were just cunts. But all of that aside, though, we were looked after incredibly well. So,
and you had a jolly.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you probably got paid a shit ton of money for staying extra.
I remember just looking at the queue when we were checking in to get the plane on the way back. Everyone in the queue just like see-through faces of just like the hangover and the fatigue. And I remember I
think maybe if I'm on a jolly like that, I might make an exception and have a few.
It was horrific. I mean, I was living after college. I stayed at home for a year to save up some cash before I moved in with my wife, and I remember opening the door and this is after travelling back, and my mum was on the phone, and then she just went, "I'm sorry, I'm going to have to call you back." She puts the phone down, and she's just like, "What the fuck happened to you?" And I'm like,
Don't
ask. Still shaking. Like it was horrendous. There's everyone's vomiting. Someone wet the bed in the night, and like,
my God,
it was fucking crazy. But it was great fun. We had a real laugh. And, but yeah, the behaviour at that's probably the worst behaviour I've ever seen at a wedding or a function.
Yeah.
Nuts, just
crazy.
So
there's Giles, forget his surname, trumpet player, great guy. He plays with there's more water here.
Oh yes, please.
What's his name? Patrick Hayes, right? Trombone player. Okay, so Patrick also plays in the sessions.
Right.
That the band, the function band that I work for. There's another fella called Giles who often plays when I think the first one is Barney Lowe. You know Barney Lowe? He's a trumpet player. He's the first one, and then if he's not around, then Giles comes around.
Okay.
Anyway, they were doing Ascot. I think it's about 2 years ago, and he shows me the videos of the behavior of these women at Ascot because they're champagned to the gills, right? And he's playing, and in front of him just ensues full-on fucking, and stuff. Then it's in the middle of the day, not quite, but women getting friendly with their friends and things hanging out and just like, wow.
Yeah, nuts, right?
It's, okay. The behavior kind of distracting me here.
The behaviour at the races, that's.
I've never been, but I've heard it's all just debaucherous.
There's one near Cambridge. I've forgotten what that one's called, but I did it last year with Heritage Orchestra, and the behaviour there. I mean, it's just like it's really interesting. Again, being like the fly on the wall kind of thing, and just seeing all these people seriously doled up and everyone looking so smart, because that's the kind of thing that you do. But that's the whole vibe. Yeah, you just go and get completely and utterly arseholed and just awful behaviour. It's fucking
silly
horrendous.
things. Silly things. I know. I'm definitely not innocent. I've done some silly things whilst drunk, that is for sure. Once or twice. As I said, growing up in a small town, what you gonna do? We didn't do drugs, we didn't, but there was a lot of drinking happening. Although, we kind of kept it in the only damage that we did was to ourselves.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of the times we used to go, because all my friends had farms, so we'd just go after a rugby game on a Saturday, all of us. We were a big group of friends, probably about 60 of us. And we'd all just go to somebody's farm and just sit around a tree and a fire and just
that sounds
drink.
Amazing.
We didn't drive when we were drunk or anything like that, which is a good thing. We were as irresponsible as we were also responsible, which is I think is a good thing. But yeah, just playing. What was the one thing that we did when I was a bit older? We used to play. There's this game, I don't know what you call it, when there's one guy in the middle and then a bunch of guys run past, and the one guy in the middle has to tackle somebody, and then once he's tackled that guy, then there's two of you in the middle, and then
is that that's bulldog, right?
Something like, I don't know exactly what it is, but we'd rugby tackle each other.
But
we'd get sauced up, and then we'd play this in the gravel road without shirts.
Jesus Christ.
So we did things like
surely
that.
You've got scars left from that.
Mate, so many times you get home, and then there's like a little rock in your back, and you're like, I can't get it. Can you get it out for me?
Oh my God.
And we did silly things. We hurt ourselves quite a lot, kind of like jackass style. But we grew up sort of rough.
What else are you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Get sauced up and do silly shit. We were rugby players. We were hard and tough, and we were hunters, and we'd do shit like that.
Drinking dirty pints.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
God.
it was all clean. We opened it ourselves. It was none of that.
Oh no, the dirty pint is just mix it in anything, you know.
Oh no. We had beer, or there used to be there's a wine called Tassenberg, which is poor man's bouquet. They were really cheap. You could buy a 750 bottle for R9.99. So that's probably about 60p. And how Tassenberg works is they go around all the vineyards in the Cape, right? And that little bit that's left in each barrel that's not enough for a bottle, they vat all that up. And so all this wine gets mixed up.
So it's just a blend.
It's a blend of everything.
That's gonna taste so fucking
no,
great.
you can get like a really, really good bottle of wine, like proper good bottle of wine, heritage grapes, everything, for R9.99. Or you can get the shittest, most foul. And it was a it's a toss up. You never know. It was like playing Russian roulette. You just walk.
But you got to drink it anyway.
You got to drink it. You know, you're school kids. It's not like you've got money to go buy another one. We've only scraped this money together and enough for a pack of cigarettes, and then that's our Friday night. We used to do that quite a lot. Yeah.
Well, that's what they do with like the supermarket own brand of Scotch whiskey. That is more often than not, it's not Tesco's own Scotch. It's like the end of something. It's like 1 month it might be some Glenmorangie or something like that. Or maybe mixed with something else. So you're more than often, or like every so often, you're going to get something that's half decent.
Really nice.
Yeah. But then you also get paint stripper.
Yeah.
Which but man, that
which
sounds
is basically
hilarious.
all vodkas.
Yeah. There's some. I've had some nice vodkas.
I'm only kidding, but you can actually remove paint from your hands with vodka. I've done that.
Really?
Yes.
Give it a Smirnoff.
Yeah. Fuck this shit. Bring me the rum. Drank a lot of rum in high school. A lot of rum. Yeah. Good times we had.
That sounds fucking bonkers.
Man, I've had a fantastic time.
I've had a fantastic time.
And
thank you for having me, darling.
We'll do it again at some stage.
What are you doing later today?
Later today, part 2. I just need to go take a piss. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me. Nice
I
one.
hope you had a good time.
Oh yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Right. Well, there we have it. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I have. Catching up with Leo. Always good to have a hang. I hope you enjoyed that. And I will be sharing Leo's social media as will I do mine, as always. I have a Patreon page, so if you want to support me, if you like what you see, patreon.com/asoundguy. You can help the cause there. Thank you very much. As always, like, share, subscribe, get the word out there. Keep it sound.